our Indian body is called TOFI, which means thin from outside, fat from inside. Because as we evolved, we were battered by famines. Our body had to store fat as a storage during sukha or famine, and which is why we evolutionarily developed some extra fat around our abdomen.
Dr. Shashank Joshi, a Padma Shri awardee, endocrinologist, diabetologist, obesity and metabolic health expert, is one of India's most trusted voices
मुंबई से प्रसिद्ध डॉक्टर शशांक जोशी जी जुड़ रहे हैं
on GLP-1 medicines, obesity, diabetes, PCOS, lifestyle, stress, sleep and aging.
When we store more fat, something gets compromised, and that something is the muscle. And muscle is our metabolic organ. So we have less muscle, more fat. And when the fat is at abnormal places or ectopic fat, for example, if it's in the liver, you'll get fatty liver. If it's in the heart, you'll get heart disease. If it's in the kidney, you will get kidney disease. If it's in the pancreas, you'll get diabetes. So basically, if it's in the ovaries, you will get PCOS. Obesity is mother of all diseases. More than 250 diseases are linked to obesity. It's not a cosmetic issue because most of the times it is unfortunate that the first time they recognize they have diabetes is when they end up with a heart attack, when they have a kidney problem, they have a fungal infection, some problem, which is sad. So I think it's very preventable. And if we lose weight, we can actually cause remission of diabetes. You don't have to go to a gym. You don't have to be a macho builder. You really don't need to show your muscles to anyone. It's not a status symbol. It's a health symbol.
What can people do to change this?
I think
Dr. Shashank Joshi, welcome to the Aditi Govitrikar show.
Namaste.
Namaste. Tell us what is happening to Indian bodies today.
So Aditi, I think first of all, thank you for calling me. And I think we have evolved over centuries. So our Indian body is basically thin and fat. So it is called TOFI, which means thin from outside, fat from inside. Because as we evolved, we were battered by famines. And because we were battered by famines, our body had to store fat as a storage during sukha or famine. And which is why we evolutionarily developed some extra fat around our abdomen. So typically we have less muscle and more fat in our bodies. But we were fortunately very agrarian. Only our kings and queens used to have thrones. There were no chairs 200 years back. And therefore, as we evolved, we were physically very active. We were very sit. And in the last 50 years or 100 years, suddenly we have chairs, we have become sedentary, we have become sust and mast. So there's a whole tectonic shift. And that has exploded all these non-communicable diseases. So I think our Indian bodies typically, as we evolved, we have excess fat and less muscle. That less muscle is called sarcopenia, which means sarcos is muscle, penia means less muscle. So we have less muscle mass and more body fat. And that is what is leading to all the medical issues or diseases which we are seeing. Our muscles don't have the mitochondrial oxidative capacity. They were always geared for adversities. We are always fighting a famine. We are always fighting poverty. We are always fighting hunger. So our original diseases were all undernutrition. And of course, now we are plenty because we all have that old fat, which was basically meant for a famine time. And now we have become sust and mast. We have got digitally intoxicated. We are the global capital of software. And we are probably the global world leader in laziness. We have a special laziness gene, It's a fact. I'm not joking. You may smile. But we have it ingrained in us that we have become sust and mast. We are lazy. We are very sedentary. We don't want to move, We are not even fidgety, So that's something which is a very typical Indian thing. And I think that is why our bodies are not perfect.
So kar lenge, chalta hai, this is in our DNA.
Yeah, that is a part of our life.
So you mentioned thin fat Indians. What does that mean?
Basically, originally 30 years back, one of our mentors, Professor Harold Lebowitz, with Mary Ann Banerjee, did an experiment in cab drivers in New York. So there were cab drivers from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, of African origin and Caucasian origin. and they were between 20 and 70. And these cab drivers were healthy. So when we did a body composition scan, we found that normally the Caucasians or the Africans, or the white or the blacks as we would call it, their 25 to 27% of their body is fat. While Indians who are healthy, or Asian Indians who are healthy, which is whether you come from any geography, we are all one only, their 33% of their body was fat. So we are basically storing more fat in our body composition. And obviously, when we store more fat, something gets compromised. And that something is the muscle. And muscle is our metabolic organ. So we have less muscle, more fat. So thin fat Indians mean we have a little more fat inside our body and a little less muscle inside our body. And when the fat is at abnormal places or ectopic fat, for example, if it's in the liver, you'll get fatty liver. If it's in the heart, you'll get heart disease. If it's in the kidney, you will get kidney disease. If it's in the pancreas, you'll get diabetes. So basically, if it's in the ovaries, you will get PCOD. So the extra fat which goes in different organs actually causes disease. That's called ectopic. Ectopic means in the wrong place. So I think extra fat and ectopic or extra fat in the wrong place, both are harmful and hurtful. And that's very typical of us as Indians.
So now what happens is when you hear something like this, the typical response may be that, kya kare? This is our, this is how we Indians are built. We can't do anything about it. But that's not true, right? What can people do to change this?
We need physical activity. We need at least every day 60 minutes of a good physical activity. It need not be going to a gym. It's not possible. Even if you do 5 minutes of brisk walk every hour and try to collate maybe good 8,000-10,000 steps a day, that's good enough. If you can do Uthak Baitak, Surya Namaskar, if you could do some abdominal exercises, Kapalbhati, that's great. If you can do muscle strengthening exercises, that's equal and better, which are called strength training exercises. So I think we have to be physically active. That's the bottom line. And that's really very, very important.
And this is applicable to both men and women.
Everybody.
Right.
There is no gender bias in it. Women tend to have a little more obesity comparatively. But I think everybody needs to be active. And it's actually universal. Whether you are a child, whether you are adolescent, whether you are adult, whether you are elderly. Everybody needs to be physically active. In fact, our aging population, after 50 or 60, every muscle fiber we lose, we replace it with fat. So for them, for graceful aging, healthy aging, it's very important to be physically active. If you ask me, first take-home message for everybody is, we must be active and fidgety for being healthy. And it doesn't matter whether it's 5 minutes of brisk walk 5 times a day, 10 times a day. You don't have to go to a gym. You don't have to be a macho builder. You really don't need to show your muscles to anyone. It's not a status symbol. It's a health symbol.
Correct.
And I think when you're physically active, you generate chemicals of happiness. So you also get that positive mindset.
How does obesity cause, or what illnesses are associated with obesity? Why should we be careful? What is the connection?
Obesity is mother of all diseases. More than 250 diseases are linked to obesity. So mental health, it can cause depression, anxiety, lack of self-esteem. Okay, it causes metabolic diseases like diabetes, gout, osteoarthritis, mechanical diseases, hypertension, heart diseases, cancer. So obesity causes a myriad of diseases, fatty liver, fatty pancreas. So there are so many diseases associated with obesity. And it is basically a disease. So first thing we have to accept is obesity is a disease. Second is, once we accept it as a disease, it's a mother of almost 200 to 250 diseases. And if we are healthy, then you need to have just that right fat. We need fat for energy. Okay, it's not that we don't need fat, but we need the right amount of fat. And we need that fat for emergency. But we don't need fat in excess. So I think obesity is important that we recognize that it's a disease. It's not a cosmetic issue.
Yeah.
It is a mother of many diseases. And if we lose weight, we can actually cause remission of diabetes, we can cause remission of hypertension, heart disease, and even prevent cancers.
So you used an interesting word, remission. You do not use reversal. Why is that? Because a
So
lot
we
of people
borrowed this term.
claim.
We borrowed this term from cancer specialists.
Yeah.
Because to do remission in a disease, you need lifestyle. But what people think is, ki minute I conquer a disease, I stop doing that good lifestyle. And then the disease springs back. So the reversal term, though is a genuinely correct term, the remission is a more practical or applicable term.
Because it can come back. You go back.
That's correct.
To...
So remission means it puts that pressure on the individual or the doctor that this can spring back.
Yeah.
And also in medical terms, like we call diabetes remission, we use AI, we use CGM, because we eat less, we do more physical activity, we can actually take you off tablets and insulin. We have done research, I do research in this area. And we have clearly taken them off their pills in the first 10 years of their disease. If they have a properly functioning pancreas, you can cause diabetes remission. But minute I say reversal, I give a false sense of security. It is like wearing a helmet and driving a bike at 200 kilometers. You can still have an accident. So that's why it's important to use a remission. Remission is a very conservative term. But it also, person living with the disease, it gives them a chance to live without a disease. At the same time, it tells them that they still need to do the right things. It's not that they can't cheat.
Yeah. So I'm going to take one more step back to talk about what is diabetes, what is insulin resistance, what is pre-diabetic stage.
So let's look at it, the entire thing.
Yeah.
Diabetes means excess sugar or too much of glucose in the body. Why do we need glucose? We need glucose because every cell of our body has to be energized. So just like our mobile phone has to be charged, and if there's no charge in your mobile phone, you get very nervous. Like that, every cell needs that charge is glucose. But glucose cannot enter the cell. To enter the cell, you need a lock and a key. So that key is insulin. When insulin attaches to every cell, it opens the lock called glucose gate, and glucose goes inside the cell and you get energy. What happens in type 1 diabetes, which is less than 5%, is our pancreatic beta cells don't make insulin. So we have to take it like an injection. Because insulin is a peptide, a protein. When you swallow it, it gets dissolved by our acid in the stomach. So that is type 1 diabetes. You need insulin for life. If you don't take it, you will die. That is a big problem. But it's a small problem. 98% of people living with diabetes are that insulin lock and key gets clogged. Like right now it's monsoon, there will be clogging of the door. Similarly, the lock is clogged. So glucose can't enter. It goes inside the bloodstream and then it goes and sticks to blood vessels. So it can cause eye problem, brain problem, kidney problem, heart problem. Because it sticks, it causes vascular changes. That is diabetes. Before diabetes sets in, these are all numbers. We have to measure them in the blood. There is a condition called prediabetes. So what is insulin resistance? When the insulin lock and key mechanism of the cell fails, insulin builds up because our pancreas pumps more insulin. And therefore, it cannot, they try to multiply and produce more insulin. That's insulin resistance. And we see that happening. So when you have prediabetes, obesity, insulin resistance, that is a precursor or a forerunner for diabetes. Diabetes is a large problem in India. Probably we are the world capital of diabetes. It is very reversible. For every person, one person living with diabetes, there is a one person who has prediabetes. Most people living with diabetes don't know they have the disease. So if your father or mother had diabetes, if one parent had diabetes, one relative had diabetes, if both your parents had diabetes, type 2, the chances are 90%. If one parent has diabetes, 70%. One relative has diabetes, it is 40%. If your family is strong with diabetes, and if your waist circumference for a man is more than 90 centimeters, for a woman is more than 80 centimeters, it's like a perfect storm.
Hmm.
And then you're in that susta and mast environment, you should screen yourself for diabetes. Because most of the times it is unfortunate that the first time they recognize they have diabetes is when they end up with a heart attack, when they have a kidney problem, they have a
Some
fungal
issue.
infection, some problem, which is sad. So I think it's very preventable.
A lot of people again have a fatalistic attitude that, my mother had diabetes, or my father had diabetes. So mujhe to hona hi hai, why should I bother? You live only
But
once.
the price you pay for that is when you land up with it, you land up with a complication.
Yeah.
Secondly, it's very preventable.
Exactly, that is my point.
100% it's preventable.
Yeah, exactly.
So for that, again, prevention mantra of diabetes is very simple. In India, we also have a concept of eating very fast. When you eat fast, your pancreas contracts fast. You pump out more insulin and you actually kill your pancreas faster. So my first thing in the mantra of prevention of diabetes is eat slowly, eat on time, eat less, eat mindfully, eat right. So eating right is the last thing.
Yeah.
Eating slowly, eating on time, eating less is the main thing. Portion control and slow eating is a very possible thing. See, as Indians, we have a DNA, we have a unique art of, we know how to give stress and take stress. We should neither give nor take.
Yeah.
I think we have to go into our ancestral mode of being a little more, what you call as a little dispassionate or detached.
Yeah.
And we have actually the tools for that. India is a very evolved country. I feel it's the richest country in the world because it has very rich traditions. And our ancestral traditions always taught us how to evolve, how to become spiritual, how to be happy, how to discover our inner self and self-realization. But I don't see that happening.
Now, I wanted to go back to the earlier conversation, which is even if your parents have diabetes, you can prevent it completely.
Absolutely.
By following the first principles like good sleep and, that is possible, right? 100%.
Yeah.
It is not necessary that you will get diabetes if your parents
We don't have to be fatalistic about it.
Exactly.
I think we can easily prevent by good eating habits, by good sleep, by digital detox, by being smiling and being physically active.
Yeah.
And I think it's very, very doable.
Yeah.
So I think prevention is here.
Yes.
So is cure. There is a lot of hope, lot of cure. I'm a diehard optimist.
Now, coming to obesity, since we have said in our earlier conversation that we are the obesity capital of the world, Mounjaro, Ozempic, and obesity. Let's talk about this because this is the trending topic. It is a hot topic. Since we are the obesity capital, how good is it that, people are now taking these drugs?
So, when I came in here, we have the generation next. So we had the millennials, then we have the Gen Zs, then we have the alphas. They won't be the betas now. They'll be the GLP-1 generation. So the generation born now is in the GLP-1 generation.
That's a good one.
Millennials, when they were born, in South America, there is a lizard called Heloderma septicum. The salivary secretions of that, accidentally they found the sugar came down, the scientist. And that gave the birth to the GLP-1. This is a peptide. It's a small little amino acid peptide, protein peptide, less than 40 amino acids. And this protein chain was being investigated for diabetes. An accidental side effect of that was weight loss. But this was an injection to be given twice a day. Then it became once a day. Then it became once a week. And now they're getting injections once in 15 days, once a month also. So this gave birth to GLP-1, which is glucagon-like peptide, which is semaglutide, for example, which is once in a week.
Sorry, but I'm going to ask you, what is glucagon? Let's talk about that before we move ahead.
Our pancreas has beta cells which make insulin. As I told you, insulin is like the coolie of the glucose which puts it inside the cell.
Yeah.
Opposite of insulin is glucagon, made by alpha cells. The glucagon-like peptides are nothing but our intestine makes these peptides. And they lower sugar, but they also cause weight loss because they switch off the appetite. So these drugs are truly game changers in the indicated people. They are not cosmetic drugs. These injections, before we give them, they have to be given under medical supervision. An endocrinologist or a physician or a cardiologist is allowed to give it. You need to filter the person that there is no pancreatic disease, there is no gallbladder disease, there is no gastroparesis, there is no multiple endocrine neoplasia. There are a lot of conditions. So a doctor has to filter you out. Once that is filtered out and you are eligible, then you have to take it under medical supervision. Now remember, this has to be done with lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because you will eat less. Your fat will come down. But whenever we lose weight, whether we lose it by lifestyle, whether we lose it with GLP-1, whether we lose it with surgery, you will also lose muscle mass. So you need to do strength training exercises. You need to take the right amount of protein and supplements. So you need to mix and match it right.
Yeah.
So as I said again, these are game-changing drugs. In the indicated population, they are disease-modifying drugs. For example, a semaglutide or a tirzepatide, which is what you alluded to them in the trade names, these injections once a week not only reduce weight, cause fat loss, but can prevent heart disease, heart failure, sleep apnea, CPAPs go away, fatty liver reverses, PMOS improves. So they have a lot, it is anti-cancer. So they have a lot of good parts. But every drug which has effect has side effects. So they can cause nausea, vomiting. They can cause abdominal pain. They can cause gastroparesis. Rarely they can cause pancreatitis or sometimes thyroid tumor. So we should be mindful that they are excellent drugs to be given by medical doctors under medical supervision. But they are clearly game-changing drugs. And there is exciting research to show that they may be even anti-aging or they may have even improvements on memory or brain fog.
However, when you see a lot of people and it is identified with the name of the drug saying, oh, this one has Ozempic face or Mounjaro face. So how is it helping in anti-aging? Because, it is actually terrifying when
you lose fat and when you become healthy, you will not get those 200, 300 diseases which obesity causes.
Correct.
You won't get the cancer, you will not get the heart disease, you will not get the diabetes, you won't get their complications.
Yeah.
Naturally, you will live longer.
Yeah.
So, it is as simple as that. So, these have anti-aging effects and these are investigated in their direction. And there are more than 250 such peptides coming up. We only have this as a tip of the iceberg.
Correct.
This is an evolving science, but it is here to stay.
Yeah.
And it is too good to be true. But I work in this area and I can tell you very confidently, in the people who deserve it the most, it really makes a big change in their lives.
Yes.
Because it preserves those organs, makes those organs of our body like the heart, the liver live longer, kidney, because they have protecting effects. So these drugs in the right conditions can be very impactful and have outcomes. So we know in medicine now we have a term called outcomes. So there are these big ticket trials which are called randomized controlled trials and they are perfect outcomes. But everything buck stocks with lifestyle. So these may be lifestyle drugs, but you have to integrate them with lifestyle. What is lifestyle? Drink water, have small frequent meals, do strength training exercises, take some protein supplements and micronutrient supplements. So it has to be a proper formula. You just can't not drink water and take these drugs because you can get constipation, you can get diarrhea. So for all my people who take GLP-1s, I say drink at least 2 to 3 liters of water. If medically indicated and there's no cardiac contraindication, at least have adequate fiber, adequate protein, adequate micronutrient supplements. Ensure that you do strength training to do muscle building. So it has to be a proper, supervised, holistic approach. See, muscles preservation and body composition is as important as fat loss.
What is the side effects that you've seen in people who have, because I'm sure they come to you for...
They can get pancreatitis, they can get gallstones, they can get sometimes even eye problems. You need to do a cup to disc ratio. So I think these are serious conditions. I don't want to scare people off.
Yeah.
But at the same time, these cannot be taken without supervision, Aditi.
Yeah. So
and
they
these
are-
are
they are
not
good-
cosmetic drugs.
Yeah,
They are
that's the
actually
thing.
medical drugs for a medical indication.
Hmm. Hmm.
And in that, if you feel good, it's fine.
Hmm.
You talked about faces.
Hmm.
Those facial features are there because if you don't take water and protein,
Yeah.
you will suddenly feel that you have sunken faces.
Correct.
So I think it has to be correctly given in the correct dose.
And then it can work wonders. It's magical.
It should work wonders.
Hmm.
And also it has to be titrated, upscaled, downscaled. These are not lifelong drugs.
Hmm.
They have also to be integrated with lifestyle because at an appropriate juncture, you should be able to de-escalate it. You cannot be stuck on these drugs all your life.
Hmm.
Though the medical companies will always tell you that this has to be taken all your life.
Hmm.
And they may have advantages.
Hmm.
But I think there has to be a finite time limit.
Hmm.
But I think the health gain you get from them
Hmm.
is quite huge.
A lot of times I see brides and bridegrooms ke chalo shaadi hone wali in 6 months. Let me just quickly take this drug because it's a fast, it's a quick, like instant gratification kind of a situation where quickly I'll lose weight.
I completely discourage all this because that is very, very, that will give you a rebound later.
Hmm.
And it could even lead to side effects.
Hmm. So
I think this whole concept of brides and bridegrooms taking it for cosmetic use should be completely discouraged.
Hmm.
I know it is a very pressing need.
Yeah.
I think there are two times stress zones in human life, in India particularly. One is examination and second is marriage. And these two episodes are big stress generators. And the marriage has an unrealistic expectation. People who are getting married, people who are attending that marriage, everybody wants in that right size. They all want to be Aditi Govitrukar. They want to be in their size zeros. They all want to be in the right attire. And it's like a status symbol. But to achieve that, there are other measures. I don't think Mounjaro is a quick fix for that or a Ozempic is a quick fix that. None of these drugs are a quick fix that. I think they're completely discouraged in that space. And as a doctor, I would never advocate that because there are medical benefits of that drug. If the indication by the Drug Control Journal of India is if you have obesity with a BMI more than 30 or if you have BMI more than 27 with comorbidities, then only the drug has to be given by a cardiologist, endocrinologist or a physician.
There are gym trainers who are prescribing GLP drugs.
Cannot prescribe. They
Shouldn't be prescribing any drugs.
They are not actually entitled to give any drugs. It is unfortunate that they are doing it and it is illegal for them to do it. So they cannot be even recommending supplements because they are not authorized to do it. Unless they have a qualified registered dietitian degree or a medical degree, they should not be using these stuff and they should be domain experts. So I think we need to educate them even in nutritional habits. They are very good in physical activity. So I think they should stick to their domain, which is strength training exercises. And we have some of the best gym trainers on earth.
Of course.
They should stick to building muscle. That is their domain. The dietitians should stick to their domain of recommending the right supplements. And of course, doctors should stick to advising both, giving the correct advice on both, and then medications when indicated. The biggest problem in India is that we do all this for a short time. Then we falter. Because the minute we get that right weight, then we just lapse. And then there is a rebound. That is called yo-yo. Or the...
And is yo-yo bad for health?
It is definitely detrimental to health.
Why?
Because we need sustained weight loss. If you are going to yo-yo, all the health gain gets offset. So...
Does it impact your hormonal health?
Yes, it does.
How so?
It is detrimental because when you get a rebound, it impacts your mental health, physical health, hormonal health. You get sometimes high glucose, high lipids, heart disease, many other things. So I think lot of fluctuations and cycling, which I mean by weight cycling or yo-yo, is not good for health. I think having it sustained, and that's where the drugs have made a difference. These drugs are able to maintain you at a lower platform. And even if you stop these drugs, the rebound is protracted. So for a year, you will be at a lower baseline. So I'll give you an example. Suppose you're 100 kilograms. You were indicated for a drug. You came to 80 kilograms. Then due to some reason, financial or non-financial, you stop the drug. You will not go back to 100.
Hmm.
After a year, you may go back to 90.
Hmm.
But that will not happen. But in a yo-yo, what happens is from 80, you spring back to 110.
Yeah.
So always there is a net gain there. The drugs have made that change. And that is big.
Now, we will move on to a topic which is very close to my heart, women's health. PCOS, which you corrected me and said that no, it is not called as PCOS anymore. Let's talk about that.
So woman is a superior gender that we have to accept as men. Okay. So there's no question asked because
I
biologically
think we are all equal. It's
no,
just that the
biologically,
conditioning is very
biologically you are a superior gender. The old term PCOS has now been rechristened as PMOS. So what was that term? Polycystic ovarian syndrome. So there were two stigmatizing points. We changed 2-3 years back a term called MFLD, fatty liver, to metabolically associated steatohepatitis. Big term. You will not understand what it is. But liver fat, the term fat had a stigma, the term alcohol had a stigma. That was removed. Similarly, in women's health, for me, the simplistic explanation for women's health, I've told you this before, is PCOS or PMOS is diabetes of the ovaries or insulin resistance of the ovaries. And the ovaries are supposed to have two functions. They have to ovulate every month and you get your cycles. And the ovulation and ovum is important for reproduction. The other thing is, ovaries are the factories of the woman's hormone, the longevity hormone estrogen and progesterone. First half of the cycle and second half of the cycle, controlled by the pituitary. So the new term is P, polyendocrine, which means the pituitary, the hypothalamus, the ovaries, the adrenal, they are all working in an orchestra. Polyendocrine. Okay. M, metabolic, because it's insulin resistance. It's like diabetes of the ovaries. So that metabolic word has got added. They have removed the word cyst because cyst has stigma to it. People used to think that they have a serious defect. There's no defect. Okay. Then O, they kept for ovary. Because ultimately it's ovarian disease. And S is for syndrome. This is the first time in the world that women living with PMOS or PCOS had a voice in the say. I'm the founder, vice president of the PCOS Society. I'm the incoming president. Dr. Duru Shah is the president. And very clearly we recognize that women living with PMOS or PCOS, when they came out, they had a voice in the change of name. Because the stigma had to go. The word cyst had to be removed because it was stigmatizing. And we had to move beyond that. It's also the third common is hormonal condition.
What
And
the
women
first
get
two, diabetes being one?
diabetes followed by thyroid.
Thyroid, okay.
And the PMOS as a term affects everyone. There are 3 problems with PCOD or PMOS. The first problem is adolescent girls. They get irregular periods. They get facial hair. They get acne and hair fall. These are symptoms of androgen excess. So when the ovary is unhealthy, all men and women make men and women hormones. There is less estrogen, more androgen. It's called androgen excess. And when there is androgen excess, you get acne, you get facial hair, you get hair fall, and you get irregular cycles. So that is a cosmetic condition. Many a times women will go or adolescent girls will go to mostly to a dermatologist, sometimes a gynecologist. The second is when they get irregular periods, they go to a gynecologist. When they get married, they get infertility. Then they have to go to infertility specialist. And after that, the reason they change the term is once they cross 40, 45, they get very vulnerable to getting diabetes, heart disease, fatty liver disease, and even cancers. So all those syndromes are there. And which is why that term has got changed. So I think PMOS has to be treated as a lifetime condition. And it has to take care of androgen excess, infertility, cosmetic conditions. It's a multi-speciality disease. So I think
Is it on a rise? Has it risen in the last few decades?
detection is also on the rise.
Hmm.
Awareness is on the rise.
Hmm.
And overall it is on the rise because again it's a lifestyle disorder.
What is the lifestyle that causes it?
Wrong lifestyle, sedentary habit, fast foods and fried foods. It's all the lack of sleep, all of them put together. So it's like a perfect storm. As I said, it's like that's the diabetes of the ovaries. So it's really a perfect storm. The other thing unique about India is we also have a lean variant. So many girls may not look obese, but they may be lean, but they also are very insulin resistant. They also get it.
Okay.
It's a medically supervised condition. Again, needs treatment under medical supervisions. Endocrinologists have a role. OB/GYN gynecologists have a role. And cosmetologists have a role. And therefore, multiple stakeholders have to do it. Mental health is equally important here. Because as I said, because of the cosmetic adversities, one has to cope with this also very well.
Okay. Now coming to a teenage boy, let's talk about the hormonal changes. What does a boy go through when he undergoes puberty? What are the watch signs or signals or red signals which one should look at in case there is anything that needs to be taken care of? How should parents educate this child, a young boy?
So I think hormonal changes for both girls and boys are important. In boys are, when they transit, they get androgens. So they grow tall, they get a mustache, their testicular size goes up, their muscles get stronger, their voice becomes coarse and hoarse. And that's a normal process of
Yeah.
So as they call it, it's a testosterone. It's the puberty. And that's very, very important. So if somebody's puberty is delayed, they are not shaving on time, they are not breaking their voice, if they are not growing tall, then they get affected. And boys are more sensitive and more shy than girls. That's the truth. Though, as I said, biologically, women are a superior sex, boys are more tender, sensitive, and a little more sensitive when it comes to their health issues, particularly related to puberty and sexual orientation. And therefore, they have to be handled with care. So if somebody is having delayed puberty, like they are not shaving on time, their voice has not cracked up, sometimes they get male breast, they get sometimes victimized or bullied. And therefore, one has to be picking them up, getting them to a doctor and getting things in order. That's very, very important. So that's one, delayed puberty. Also, worldwide, we are seeing there is premature puberty, both in girls and boys.
Yes.
Girls get periods early, boys get puberty early. That also has to be handled with care because then they are out of sync in their class. And therefore, a lot of not only just hormonal supervision is required or medical supervision is required, but also counseling is required. So I think it's very important, both for the mental health and physical health of the boy, that they need to negotiate this journey correctly. Even sexual orientation and sexual health and sex education is equally important.
Yes.
They should not go to wrong sources for that. That's equally important. Because as I said, it's a very tender age, which is very influentiable. So I think it's very important as parents and people at civil society should invest in this next adolescent generation.
That is absolutely true. So all the parents who are listening, who have young kids, in that pre-teenage time, just be mindful, have great communication with your kids that will help them tide over this hormonal changes that are going on in their bodies. Now coming to a big thing which happens in a woman's life, a woman has to go through so many hormonal changes in her life. We have to pay attention to these big changes or big shifts in her life, one of them being menopause. So perimenopause, menopause, post-menopause, huge hormonal changes. Let's talk about these stages.
Aditi, women are uniquely poised because they have 3 lives packaged in one. One is life before puberty. Okay. Then is a life between puberty to menopause. Okay. And then is a life after menopause. So they have 3 lives packaged in one.
Yes.
Now the first transition, which is puberty, has its own challenges. Okay, but that time the focus is image and beauty.
Yeah.
Okay, then is the reproductive life, which is a little pensive because they are triple tasks. Sir. They have to manage husband's family, their family, and their children. So those 20, 25, 30 years. And then comes a time when ovary abruptly shuts off. Maybe at 45, maybe at 46, maybe at 50. And when that ovary suddenly shuts off, the female hormone shuts off. And estrogen is their life. Estrogen is what makes women beautiful, makes them very loving and caring. And suddenly when there is a disruption, they get hot flushes. They sweat in an AC environment. They get mood swings. Their vaginal secretions dry up. So they get painful intercourse. And it's like a havoc. It's like a world coming upside down. That is called acute menopause. It's a medical disorder. If there's an acute menopause, there's treatment. You can give a short term of estrogen. You can give a KY jelly. You can give a lot of, proper treatment under medical supervision. And we have now awareness around menopause.
Yes.
Estrogen is like a kavach. It's like a protective
Shield.
shield. It protects you from heart disease. So suddenly after that shield is gone, the woman get vulnerable to two problems. One is heart disease, because estrogen was protecting them from heart disease. And secondly, bone health. Suddenly when estrogen is gone, their bones become brittle. So I think after menopause, preserving bone and heart health is equally important.
Yeah.
So I think, it is important that women are able to gracefully handle menopause. And the menopausal transition sometimes needs medical help. And they should gracefully take it. They should not ignore it. The one thing about Indian women is they are sacrificial mothers. So they many a times compromise their own health for their entire near and dear ones. Whether it is their children, whether it is their parents, whether it is their spouses, but they should take care of their health. And menopause is one time when all the near and dear ones should rally around that woman to encourage and empower her to handle it well.
Yeah.
I think that's very important. As a culture in India, we need to be more mindful of that.
Yes. So what will you say to the husbands out there whose wives are going through perimenopause and menopause?
I think beyond tender loving care, that unconditional love which is required is very necessary. And also getting them right medical access and care whenever needed is equally important. I think that's my take on all the spouses who are taking care of their
or
near
who
and
are
dear
being
ones.
with the woman going
Because
through
they
this
need to
stage.
understand that this is her transition time.
Yes.
And they need to be mindful of it. And right now the information overload is so much that everything is a chat GPT or a cloud away. So you can actually get the entire mapping.
Yeah.
But you can handle it better. But I think we need to be sensitive of it.
So support is very, very crucial.
Cool.
And
It's very,
being
very
aware of she's not just being cranky or she's just not nagging for the sake of nagging. But it is
it's
an
a real
actual-
problem. It's a real disease.
actual
It's like a disease or a
hormonal-
disorder.
Yeah, it's an actual hormonal change.
It's something which needs. They can get headaches,
Yeah.
migraines.
Migraine.
You
Yeah.
can get so many things.
Yep.
So I think we need to be sensitive and mindful of them.
Hmm.
And also keep them cheered up.
Now, you said that the second hormonal disease, which is rampant, is thyroid. Generally, one does not pay attention to it till it is still here. Again, till it's too late. What are the thyroid diseases? What are the early signs? And how can one prevent thyroid disease?
Unfortunately, in thyroid,
Yeah.
there is a 8:1 ratio for women to men.
Oof.
Okay. So there's a gender predilection there. Thyroid is a hormone, like glucose, is another energy hormone, T3 and T4. And is a butterfly-shaped gland here. In the good old days, we used to have large goiters. Because what happens? How is thyroid hormone made? It is basically, we get iodine. The iodine gets trapped with a protein called tyrosine. And you get T3, T4, which are thyroid hormones. which are again like our energy batteries of our body. So sometimes the gland doesn't work. In the good old days, we used to get a swelling of the gland called goiter.
Yeah, it used to be like this big, right? I used to see.
Then we are now in an iodinized world, and there is something called Hashimoto or autoimmunity, which is aa bail mujhe maar. That means we are generating, instead of killing a bug which comes from outside, we are killing our own organ. That is autoimmunity. And this autoimmune thyroid disease is on the rise. And then the gland shuts off. So we have to give the thyroid tablet for life. Otherwise, you feel slow, you feel sluggish,
Lethargic.
you get a brain fog, you get swelling, you get heavy periods. If you're a woman, if you're a man, you gain weight. And you feel totally lethargic, sust and mast. And sometimes you can even get coma, called myxedemic coma, in severe cases. And you just take a simple pill and you're good. Sometimes some people, their thyroid gland becomes overactive. They make too much of the hormone. They lose weight, they get very fidgety, they get tremors, their eyes pop out. It's called Graves' disease. Not because it's a grave condition, because it was discovered by Sir Robert Graves.
Person called
And it is hyperthyroid state.
Yeah.
Then again, we give tablets to calm down the gland. Occasionally, we have to give radioactive iodine, or occasionally, we have to do surgery. So, thyroid can be hyper or hypo. There's a lot of autoimmunity related to it. And it's again a stress disease. So, the trigger is stress. But once you get it, you have to treat it. And you need again expert supervision there.
Yeah.
And of course, if you have goiter, thyroid cancer is also on the rise. So, then you have to remove the gland completely. It's a very treatable cancer. You don't have to get scared about it. So, whether it's a goiter or a cancer of thyroid, whether it's excess thyroid hormone or hyperthyroidism or underperforming gland, all three are common. But hypothyroidism is the main. And that is directly linked to stress. And it is quite common. And it's a very treatable condition.
Got it. Coming to your favorite topic, which is reverse aging. You said you're doing a lot of work in reverse aging, longevity, and anti-aging. Something that I really enjoy reading about, researching about, mitochondria, the powerhouse of a cell. Tell us a little bit about how do you keep that little energy powerhouse going throughout life? Because after a certain age, it starts deteriorating, right?
So, aging is an enigma. Okay. My mentor at the Mayo Clinic, Professor Steve Nair, has a Nair lab. He does work in human mitochondria. So, our mitochondria is our energy powerhouse, as you rightly said. And if you have to age gracefully, live longer, and if you look at the blue zones of the world, what is making people to live 100 years? Whether the Japanese or the Americans or the Hawaiians, what is making them live longer? Okay, the first thing is mental health. Happier the person, the longer he will live.
Yeah.
Second is physical health. In physical health, frugal diet, less eating, calorie control and portion control, less meals, skipping a meal makes you live longer. Then having the right nutrients for the mitochondria, whether it is a protein, whether it's amino acid, whether it is a right ingredient, we don't know. We are still researching it. But keeping that mitochondria healthy is the key. And there are a lot of things which keep mitochondria healthy. As I said, not just eating habits or mental health habits or physical activity, small micronutrients, many of them, have some very nice interactions in the body. So having the right carbs, good quality carbs, right proteins, good quality proteins, right fats, and the good quality fats are equally important. We need to ensure that we are always being mindful in the right proportions.
Yeah.
We cannot be having trans fats. We cannot be having simple sugars because or too much of salt. So I think we'll have to integrate all this.
Give us a few examples of good carbs, good protein, and good fats. And what is the proportion? Suppose we take a plate, like a regular, your dinner plate.
My mantra is very simple. Eat less. Whatever food you're eating, have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, have 1/3 less. Don't make it very complex, because if you make it very complex, it becomes
It's
very tiring.
difficult, yeah.
Then when it comes to carbs, okay, having excessive sweets is hurtful. Tasting the sweet is okay. Okay, if you have starches, the longer the starch, the better it is.
So what do you mean
So
by
complex
longer?
starch is always better than a simple starch. So if you can't be taking white sugar
Yeah.
or a sweet, but if you want to have a starchy food, okay, that is equally better. Now what has happened, see our traditions. Cereal, we are a cerealized economy. So in part of India there is rice, part of India there is
Wheat.
wheat. But in that rice or wheat, we wanted to make it less glutinous, the rice. And we want to ensure that the attas of the world are actually having some ingredients to make it more healthy. So the sugar doesn't spike very fast. So we want to make it delayed. So we want to lower their GI. So that's very important. Traditionally in India, we have always mixed it with pulses. That is where the proteins come in. So if you have more dal and less rice, okay, if you have less chapati or paratha and more proteins from your sprouts or the usals, then it becomes more healthy. So the other thing is, if you want to live long, have protein first, because it will make you
Fuller.
and then have the carbs. So sequencing of food, portion control, mixing it with the carbs and fats is very important. Now, even in the non-vegetarians, egg white, good quality fish, chicken breast without fat is equally important. Egg yellow, not necessarily always very good. Having too much of prawns, shellfish and crabs will give you a lot of fat. But other fish may have a lot of good omegas. Then having red meat is not good. But having an occasional chicken may be reasonable. So if you are able to do your 60 minutes of strength training exercise every day and eat your grandparents' diet, you are most likely to live longest.
And healthy.
And also that too without stress.
Fasting, as
Eating
we had
slowly.
in our culture, right? Fasting matlab not feasting. Like I remember when my mother used to fast, it used to be feast for us because sabudana khichdi, varache tandoor, peanut ka curry, fruits, milk. So it never felt like, or sabudana vada. I mean, there's no
That is
fasting
fasting and
there.
feasting
Actual
culture, that,
fasting,
yeah.
right? Not feasting.
But those were high carbs to counter the fast. Those were religious fastings.
Yeah.
So now that you got to a very nice topic, we have religious fasting and we have intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
Both are hurtful in their own ways.
Oh, you don't recommend intermittent fasting?
No,
Why
because
not?
it is not physiological.
Okay.
We are disrupting our biological rhythm and circadian clock of our body. So I think anything in excess is adverse. Okay, what is fasting? When you sleep on time and go that 8 hours, that is the fast. That is our body's fast. If you go on 2 meal pattern, it's reasonable. But overdoing it, it's hurtful to health.
So
it can
what
even
about-
harm heart health. So IF is not a standard of care. Okay. All these fasting techniques which are evolved on the world, or these fashion diets which are there, like the keto diets and all types of diets,
OMAD.
these are all having short-term gains, but not long-term. And also they have to be individualized. And though they may have short-term gains, in the long run, they are not standard of care.
Other than this, supplements have become the trending topic. Do you say yes to this? And if so, what are the supplements that a person should take so that one lives longer? And for me, what is important is also living longer, but being healthy at the same time.
So best supplements are free, which is good fresh air, physical activity, eating less, eating on time, having your 5 fruits and vegetables every day. They give you everything you have. Okay, you really don't need a fruit juice or a pill there.
Yeah.
But India is a very unique country. Unfortunately, we have low hemoglobin. You need iron. You don't have iron on board. If you have low B12, you need that B12 if you are a vegan or a vegetarian. Okay. If you are even having plenty of sunlight, India is blessed with D deficiency.
Cursed.
That's a curse.
It's a curse.
I would still say blessed.
Huh.
I think nutritional supplements are important in the deficient people, but not in the sufficient people. Unfortunately, we are,
rule.
So I think it's also remember that we have fat soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K. They can cause toxicity. And then, of course, you have water soluble vitamins. So I think we need to be mindful of what we supplement, how we supplement.
So just don't take it blindly.
It has, again, it needs some degree of medical supervision.
And what about the new age supplements called NMN, NAD, NAC? That's one. COQ, Fisetin, and these kind of supplements,
So
which
these
are promoted as anti-aging or
So
reversal.
these are quote promote anti-aging supplements. According to me, they are experimental and investigational. They are not standard of care. They are work in progress. They are billions of dollars in it.
Yes.
But I would not say that they are standard of care.
Okay.
So I would urge you to take them with a pinch of salt. I would not urge you to take them blindly. And I don't think that the last word on those quick fix pills is still out. So we still need to generate some more science there. Please don't get wedded to them at all.
What about magnesium? Because a lot of people are taking magnesium supplements, self-prescribed, of course. Glycinate is very much in vogue.
Magnesium, I do recommend in some people.
Okay. So again, in indicated patients.
Again, it improves sleep. But all magnesium doesn't cause the blood-brain barrier. Only magnesium threonate crosses the blood-brain barrier. So magnesium can have very good mental health effects. It can have very good effects for migraine. It can be very good for constipation. But it is not tolerated by everybody. Also, magnesium deficiency is very common in alcoholism. So person who is alcoholic, person who is magnesium deficient, magnesium is a standard of care. But magnesium is not a universal pill again. Okay. Again, it needs some degree of supervision. Don't take these pills as a fashion. If you need it, take it. If your magnesium level is low, you are restless and sleepless. A little bit of magnesium is any day better than a sleeping pill. So don't get trapped in the commerce of medicine. Get right advice from qualified individuals who are domain experts in this area. And if there is a genuine deficiency, definitely correct it. But if there is no genuine deficiency, there is no need to super supplement at all.
Because that is going to cause toxicity, leading to so many ill effects
Correct.
on you.
Correct.
And then they could be very difficult to diagnose or correct if it is causing that damage, right?
That's absolutely true. I completely agree with you. And that's why it's important to be... So we are in an era of precision medicine and precision nutrition. And in precision medicine and precision nutrition, we have even diagnostic tools. For example, an area which we didn't discuss, but is very crucial for aging and good health, is our gut microbiome. So you wanted to end on a positive note. You will live long and you will be rich on not what is your bank balance in your bank, but how healthy your gut microbiota there in your gut. The healthier the microbiota in your gut, the longer you will live and healthier you will be.
So you're saying probiotics, prebiotics?
Not probiotics. Having the right curd, the right amount of
homemade curd, I
pre-probiotic,
think, is very important.
right amount of pre-probiotics, and having the right gut bacteria is very important for good health.
How do you maintain that?
So that's a very tough question. Again, it's an investigational question. We can't just map your gut microbiome. They are very expensive. And again, it's a subject area of research. But one thing I can tell you is your gut health will lead to your general health. And you look at these peptides. These GLP-1 peptides are also operating through gut only. So they are really changing the microbiome. So the biggest problem we are having is we are invaded with instant foods and ultra-processed foods. They are completely disrupting our gut microbiome. Many people tell me we eat healthy, we order everything from outside, everything is in a package, everything is in the right ingredient, still we have got all these diseases. But I said, these are ultra-processed foods. Your gut microbiome is disrupted. You need to ensure that you take natural food, not a ultra-processed food.
So that's a very interesting thing which I had just heard, that have food which is made by plants, not in a plant.
That's correct.
So, not industry or factory manufactured, but
Correct.
which nature gives you. So
Absolutely.
I think that is
That's very
good way of
important.
looking at it. On that note, thank you so much, Dr. Shashank, for being here and sharing. it was like wealth of knowledge. There's so much that we learned from this conversation, and I have a feeling we will do one more podcast in near future. Looking forward to that conversation as well. Once again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Aditi, for having me over.